Hi, I'm Christina and welcome to the LOESS MOOC. I'm EUN's in-house soil expert, and today I'm going to show you an activity that you can do with your students to demonstrate salinisation. We're going to do an indoor activity that you can do in the classroom and give you some proposals for outdoor activities that you can combine. So, what is salinisation? Salinisation means that the salt content, the mineral salts in the soil, affect plant growth and soil fertility. So what you're going to demonstrate with your students is how do different amounts of salt affect plant growth. In the indoor activity, you're going to have students plant cress seeds in soil, adding different amounts of salt. So here is what we're going to need for that. You're going to need paper cups or plastic cups that you can wash and reuse, a marker to label the cups. We're going to need our soil. Now, you can collect soil from outdoors, but in this sort of experiment, we need to keep things controlled. So we need to make sure that every cup has the same soil. This is why, for this particular case, it's better if you buy soil from a garden supply store. We are going to need a spoon, a balance that can go down to 0.1 grams. We're going to need our salt. When we talk about salinisation, we talk about salts of many different elements. But for this experiment, we're just going to use table salt that you can find easily. We're going to need a little weighing boat, a second spoon, a stirring stick. We're going to need our cress seeds. I chose cress because I know that it sprouts very quickly. In 2 days, you're already going to see it sprout. But you can use any other fast-growing seed that you have available. We need tweezers to plant our seeds, and of course we need water. So you need to divide your class in groups of a maximum of 4 students. Each group is going to take 6 paper cups. The first thing we need to do is label the cups with the amounts of salt that we will add in them. We will be adding 0 grams of salt, that is our control, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.5, and 1 gram of salt. So first, go ahead and label your cups. Now that our cups are labeled, we are ready to weigh the soil. You take the paper cup, place it on your balance. A kitchen balance will do as long as it goes down to 0.1 grams. You tare, and now you can take your soil and put it in the cup until you reach 50 grams. Now you're ready, and repeat for all the cups. Now it's time to weigh the salt. I'm going to take a little weighing boat or any other kind of paper you have, place it on the balance, tare, and then take a clean spoon and start adding salt. I'm going to start with the highest amount, which is the 1 gram. Now I'm going to add salt to my soil, and very important, I need to mix it very well to make sure that the soil is homogeneously distributed in the soil. Now, you might wonder, why am I adding the salt to the soil and not watering my plants with salty water? Well, as we said, the definition of salinisation is the accumulation of salt in the soil. But it is a very good idea to do a different type of experiment to see to what extent does water salinity affect plant growth. And in that case, you can water your seeds with salty water. Now it's time to add our seeds. As I said, I'm using cress seeds, which I also got from a garden supply store. Now, this is very important. Firstly, you need more than 1 seed per cup, because something might happen if you put just 1 seed and then you will not observe any results. So let's put 10 seeds in each cup. The second important part is that you have to lay them out well spaced from each other so that the plant can actually grow. This is why I'm using tweezers. So I'm going to pick a little cress seed and I'm going to carefully lay it on top of the soil. You do not need to push it really deep in the soil. You just need to have it lying gently on the surface. So now I'm going to do the same with 9 more seeds. Final step, just with any plant, I need to water my cups. Now, I don't need to add too much water because then I will saturate the soil and there will not be any oxygen for the seeds to breathe. So for this amount of soil, you need to add a maximum of 10 milliliters of water. Here I'm using a little syringe to add the amount of water that I need. You have to do it carefully so that it goes all over the surface. Now, again, you do not need to water every day because that will saturate the soil. Your students can come, observe the soil, and if they notice that the soil is dry, then they can add a little bit more water. Your students should observe their plants every day and note down the number of seeds that have sprouted and the number of stalks that have grown. After 4 or 5 days, this is what they will observe. So for 0 amount of soil, we've had the best plant growth. And then it goes down from there. For 0.5 grams of salt, we barely have any growth, and for 1 gram, nothing grows. This is a very good quantitative way of visualizing the effects of salinization on plant growth. Students can take both the qualitative and quantitative data that they have collected, and you can do with them activities that have to do with graphing, statistics, visualizing, and presenting the results. One extension that you can do for more advanced or older students is to use a probe or a salinity sensor to measure the salinity of the soil. In this case, you need to take some of your soil, add water, make a slurry, and then use the sensor to measure its salinity. This was an activity that you can do inside the classroom, but why not take your students outside and help them contextualize salinization? Now, the problem is what kind of resources or spaces you have access to. If you are in an urban environment, what you could do is take your students on an urban field trip, collect soil samples from different spaces in the city, and then bring them back to the classroom to analyze their salinity. Depending on the type of salinity sensor you have, you could do these measurements in the field as well. So you could show students how environmental scientists are conducting measurements outside and inside the lab. If you're able to move outside the city, you could actually take your students to a landscape that has been affected by salinization. You can talk to your local geological survey institute, and they can point you to areas that you might find interesting. For example, you could visit farms where the farmers have had to deal with problems with irrigation. You can visit areas around salt lakes or areas near the shore where there has been intrusion of salt water into the soil. These types of trips can help your students understand the effect of salinization in the real world. You can also conduct field measurements of salinity in those areas as well. Thank you for watching and good luck with the rest of the MOOC.